All righty. So I'm assuming in Facebook. All right. So say if we're live.
Yes, it's say we're live.
All right. So I'm assuming. Hey y'all, if anybody's here and y'all watching, let me know that you're in here. So we want to make sure everything is working. It says 7 people are here.
Okay.
Well, it says that on YouTube. Hey, y'all type in the chat box if y'all can hear Robert and I.
Hello.
It's working. Now everybody want to be shy.
Yeah, not want to say nothing,
huh? All right, Zachary said, yeah.
Okay. Oh, they didn't put that in the chat box because I don't see it.
You don't see anything in the chat box yet?
No.
It's not showing on your side?
Nope. Wait a minute, comments. Let me. There it is.
It's showing up now.
Okay. Yeah, I was putting in private chat. I was in that private chat at first.
Okay.
Okay, I see them popping up now.
Popping in. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hello, everybody, hello.
We're a little early, so we're gonna wait about 4 or 5 minutes before we start. It officially kicked off at 7:15. I haven't used this software before, so we might be kind of stumbling through this thing to get through. I know, the election has some folks in the fury. And people talk. My phone been ringing off the hook saying, "I cartel, I'm getting the hell out of here. I need to go." And talked to quite a few people today, and so we figured we'll get on this live, talk about just some preparation things you need to think about before coming. Robert and I have been living here for three and a half years now, and we're gonna share our insight, and so feel free to ask questions and whatnot. So I'm gonna run off for a minute, Robert. You can talk and do whatever, but we got about 4 minutes, y'all.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm glad that we got some time because I ain't ready to handle these people by myself on this subject. This is a Cortez thing, guys. But I remember years ago when, whichever side you was on, if the opposite side won, people were ready to get the heck up out of there. And I thought they were just joking. But now that I have moved, I realize, hey, people not joking. They really want to leave. So totally understand. Again, hello, everyone. Good to see all of you guys, sitting, saying hello and good evening and all of that. The name of this chat, I believe, that Cortez come up with is Get Out Quick. Hey. What was the name of this video? What's the name of this again? Get Out Quick.
Get Out. Quick start plan to flee the United States before the inauguration.
There you go.
I know some of y'all ready to go. It's funny, many people ready to get here. Kim is ready to get out of here.
Why is she ready to get out of here?
She went to go look at a refrigerator from Facebook Marketplace and drove 45 minutes. She's on her way back now. Drove 45 minutes to go look at the refrigerator, and the refrigerator that the guy had was 2 different refrigerators, nothing like the one he had on Facebook, and they were raggedy. She said, "This is why I want to get the hell out of here. I can't stand this. I can't deal with." Oh, she's furious.
Hey, I get it. My first 2 refrigerators that I bought, we looked all over, found a couple of used refrigerators. Well, they say they was new. They was actually used, but they probably fell off the truck or something because they had some dings in it. Got them for a pretty decent price, but they were small. But when we moved here, we went to Sears and bought a new refrigerator.
Wow. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to end up doing.
Yeah.
All right.
No problem.
We're going to wait 1 more minute Then we're gonna start. Really, no format to this, y'all. So if y'all have questions, make sure feel free to ask them in the comments. From my understanding, there's a way that I can bring you all up on the screen if you have a particular question.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I'll send a link. So apparently, I'm supposed to. All right, somebody. I'm gonna see how that work. Y'all bear with us.
There we go.
All right, been following for a good while. Thanks for all the advice. You're welcome. Where y'all from? Where some of y'all from? Throw it in the chat.
There we go.
Hit the like button, y'all. Share this video. Get the word out. The more likes and shares we can get, the more people can get this information. So make sure you hit the like button and help us get going. Los Angeles in the house, Houston in the house, Cincinnati, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Laurel, Maryland. I used to live near Laurel when I was at Andrews Air Force Base. Nancy Stewart out of Virginia, South Florida here, Seattle, Washington. Latoria out of Virginia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and pissed off. Oh, let me throw that comment.
Let me see what these people saying here because I don't see all that part. Wisconsin and pissed off.
Yeah, boy. Man. Folks, it's hot. North Carolina in the house. Travel Spanish with Claire. How you doing, young lady? New Jersey, ATL, Philadelphia. Man, we got some folks on tonight. Omaha, Cortez, do you have any realtor connections near Playa? I don't, unfortunately. Margaret says, let me put her.
Cortez, how do you get that to pop up on the screen? Everybody's deal not popping up on the screen?
No, what it is on this app, you can choose to comment.
Okay.
Yeah, from this side, I can choose to comment and throw them up. Margaret said, we're all pissed off. Ooh. Southwest Michigan, Philadelphia. All right, so we're gonna get started in a minute, y'all. We're up to 59 people in so far. So hit the like button, hit the share button. Hello, I'm from California. Thank you for all you do. Thank you.
I'm gonna tell you guys, just because you moved to Mexico, it don't stop you from being pissed off.
Oh yeah. It certainly don't. Are you all watching a new hurricane? I didn't know there was a hurricane floating out.
I didn't either.
Might need to pay attention. Eduardo from New York City.
We're in November. We just about done with hurricane season, I thought.
I thought so too. So disappointed in the U.S. It's Carrie saying, yeah, a lot of folks woke up disappointed. But I'm going to tell y'all, man, it's not the end of the world. You got options. You got choices. You got opportunity.
Hey, China is surviving with a dictator in charge, so the U.S. can survive with one in charge too, I guess. That's the way I had to look at it.
Hey, you got to put a positive spin on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's real. So really, we just wanted to chat with y'all, man. Kind of share our experiences.
Bring y'all down to earth.
Exactly. So for those of y'all that are serious, because I was just looking at some data the other day, statistics say that after every election cycle, the surges in searches for moving abroad or moving to Canada go straight through the roof. And it lasts for about 2 days and everything goes back to normal. And they say out of all the people that actually say they're going to get the heck on and leave, only 0.1% actually pull the trigger. So that's a very, very small number. Folks are emotional. They're upset. So we just decided, hey, let's come up with some little action plans for those that are serious on some things that you can do. So step one, I don't think I can present on this thing. I don't want to mess up the software. Some immediate things you can do 3 to 6 months before moving. I know some of y'all want to get out of here before the inauguration, which is in January. But first step, you really need to figure out where you want to go. You know what I mean? People say, hey, I want to move abroad. I want to live abroad. But when you ask them where they want to go, they don't know. Mexico has been good to us and my family and Robert and his family. You got to figure out where you want to go. And, for some people, they want to live in tropical climates where the weather's warm, or some people want to see all 4 seasons. Some folks just want warm weather all the way around. Some people want to live near the mountains. Some people want to live near the beach. Some people want to live within close proximity to the border of the U.S. so they can get back and forth. So these are just some things you got to kind of figure out for yourself. Yeah. Other people, they say, hey, I don't want to move to a place where I have to learn a new language. So you have to move to a place where they speak English. So you just got to do the research and find out what's necessary. I often talk about it's important to know what your why is. Why do you want to leave? And honestly, I'll probably go out on the limb and say, hey, I'm moving because I don't like who the president is. That might not be a strong enough why, because when you get to the new place that you want to live, you're going to have a lot of headaches and frustrations, culture shock, frustration from not understanding the language. And for many people that move, first sign of trouble, they go back home.
Yeah.
So you need to know what that why is. And Robert, feel free to jump in anytime.
Okay.
You got to know what that why is very important. But more than anything, like I say, you got to do the research, figure out what you want, where you want to be, do the research, and just kind of make that decision that, hey, I'm going somewhere. Let me do my homework.
Yeah. You definitely got to have a strong why, because you can get down here and you can get very frustrated at some of the simplest things. I remember when we first moved down here, not knowing Spanish, going to the grocery store just to get the small things. You got to go up and down every aisle because you can't read or understand what the language is and saying which aisle you're on. So that could be frustrating when you have to go in the store and stay 30 minutes just to go get some black pepper. Okay. That's exactly what I was looking for. That's why I remember that.
And that's real.
Hey, it's real, brother. It's real. You got to go down about 3 or 4 different aisles. You ask somebody what black pepper is, they don't know black pepper. Mm-mm. So the culture shock can be very real. It's a lot of time when you move to another country, you think that every country lives like your country. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. It's different in every country.
Mm-hmm. Very different. I think that's one of the reasons why Kim is having such a hard time, is because she relates everything back to what it was like at home.
Yeah.
Everything. And it's like, you can't do that because it's just not. I was done here.
It's not the same. Now, there are some things here that can help you kind of get to that, a little bit of comfort level. Some of them are expensive, some of them are not, but it's just differences.
Oh, yeah. Differences. Big time. So it's very important, like you say, you got to have a strong why, because you want to lean on that why to stay. Because again, a weak why will have you out of here at the first sign of trouble. I see it all the time. A lot of people move here 3 months later, they out. Most of them don't even make it the first 90 days. And the issue is they done sold their house, they done sold their car, sold all their furniture. Now they got to go back and restart all over. And it's difficult. It's challenging.
Yeah, it's very difficult and challenging. I know we came down here and stayed for a month first and to see if we like it. But before we moved down here, but there are some people just cutting the cord and they just moving down here, you know, selling the house, selling the car, like you said, selling furniture, selling everything, and coming down here. And you okay with buying new stuff down here because you anticipate that it'll be a little bit cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to move back, that means you got to pay probably, if you had a house, you have to pay more to rent an apartment. I mean, yeah, pay more to rent an apartment than you was paying to live in your house. And then you got to refurnish that thing because in the U.S., there are very few furnished apartments. It's not like here where you can just take your suitcase, unpack it, and put it in the drawers and on the closet, and you good to go because the TV and furniture, stove, all that stuff is already here. So it's just a whole different ballgame. So you better have a very strong why to get you, to pull you through these problems. Because you could be here in the wintertime and enjoy it. The weather's great. You know, you sacrifice whatever little difference it is, but you love the weather. And then the summer comes, and oh boy.
Summer ain't no joke. It'll have you questioning why you here.
Yes. And sometimes that rainy season ain't no joke either. All that water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know? So you get sick of the rain. Can't even wash your car because it rains 5 days a week for 30 minutes a day.
Exactly.
So it's different.
Yeah. I mean, like my pool. I haven't been able to get in my pool. I haven't had it clean because it was like, I'm not going to get it clean because, like you say, it's been raining every single day. Wind blowing, leaves falling in my stuff. And I'm like, no sense in getting it clean because it's just going to be raining again and getting dirty again. And so, look like we might have a little break. So I'm thinking about calling this guy this weekend to come out here and knock that out. So yeah, it's different. It's different. So, step one in this get out, quick start plan to flee the United States before the inauguration, check your passports. Most countries going to require you to have at least 6 months remaining on your passport not to be expiring within the next 6 months, so they won't let you get on the plane. So if your passport is not up to date, make sure you get a new one. That way you can make sure you get into the country. When we got ready to leave, my kid's passport was like 3 months away from being expired. Called the airlines and they were like, well, I'm arguing with them. I'm like, well, Mexico say there's no 6 month clause. But the airline was like, well, but we ain't letting you on the plane. Because they check your passport. And so it was like, even though Mexico said the 6 month wasn't a requirement, the airline was like, nope, we ain't letting you on the plane. So check your passport, make sure it's valid. So that won't be an issue. And sometimes it could take 6 weeks, the 9 weeks to get your passport. So if you're trying to get gone, you might want to start looking at that right now.
Also, they're gonna be backed up right now because everybody's trying to get it.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a real good point. So other documents you're going to want to have, and again, this is just a general list. Make sure you got your birth certificates. You're going to want most of the time, particularly when you're trying to get residency and stuff like that, they're going to want the apostle. How do you say that? Apostille, something like that.
Yeah. That's the one with the certification stamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just a picture of it. They want it where you could feel it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So make sure you got that birth certificates, marriage certificates, divorce records. If you think you're going to go to school, you're going to have your transcripts, your diplomas. Also, make sure your driver's license is current because many countries will allow you to drive on your U.S. driver's license as long as it's valid. Now, if your license is going to be expiring in a year again, go get those renewed so you don't have to hop back on a plane and go back 6 months later to go get your licenses renewed. Bring whatever medical records that you have. Some countries might require a police background check. So get all that stuff together yourself so that way you can avoid any potential problems.
Cool.
Number 2, and we talked about this briefly, destination research. you know, consider countries that have easier immigration pathways. Some countries it's extremely difficult to become a citizen or to get residency or to get a visa. You might need a lot of money. Canada is one of those places you need a whole lot of money. I'm talking like a couple of $100,000 to get residency in some of these countries. So, you know, do your research. Find out what the pathway is to become, you know, to get residency or get a visa so that you can stay there. Mexico is one of the easier countries that you can go to and get residency. It's pretty simple. You know what I'm saying?
Repeat that. You froze up there for a minute, Cortez.
Oh, did I freeze? Okay. So yeah, so make sure you do your research. Choose countries where getting residency might be easier. Mexico is one of the countries that are very easy to get residency. Many of the other countries, they want a lot of money, a couple of $100,000 in your retirement account, in your bank account. You know, so again, you got to do your research. You can't just hop up and go. You got to plan. You got to think this thing out. You know what I mean? You got to think it out. You got to plan this out. Mexico was a breeze. How difficult was it for you all to get residency when you and the wife?
Us?
Yeah.
You know, when we first came here, we knew that you could cross the border and come back, you know, every 6 months. So we was planning on driving to Belize or something and then, you know, get another 6 months to stay. And then we started realizing that, hey, we need to get our residency. So it was very easily because at the time they had a special plan where if you had visited Mexico more than 2 times or something, then there was a route that you can go. So we didn't have to worry about flying back over to the U.S. and do it on that side and then coming up and doing it on this side. So we just called up this guy. The go-to guy is what you can look up to find him. And he got us all done. Cost us about, you know, we can't speak the language, so we got him to do everything for us. It cost us about $800 or $900 a person, something like that. But it was a pretty easy process.
And they gave you 4 years.
And we got the max, which was 4 years. In fact, it's getting close to that point now where we're going to be able to roll that over to permanent.
And once you get permanent, you're done.
I'm done.
You're done.
Oh, and the cool thing about this way, guys, if you're able to qualify it, if they still had a program available, there is no income verification.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So
you
y'all don't have
too on one of your kids or something, didn't you?
Say again.
Did you go that route?
Yeah. We went that route. I got the visa, and then I was able to enroll all my family members up under me.
Okay.
So nobody had to qualify. Once I got it, they was able to enroll up under me. That program is still going. It's called the regularization program.
Okay.
And I'm
really gonna ask.
I'll type it in the comments. Regularization. And you know, so look into that. A local Mexican attorney, local immigration attorney can help you out with that. Psychic Zaya, if I'm saying her name right, says Paraguay is the easiest. You don't have to show income. You just get the 2-year temporary residency. Man, I like that. You know what I mean?
What language do they speak there?
I want to say Spanish. What language do they speak there, Zaya? Can I bring you up? Do you want to come up on this thing and talk a little bit? If you feel comfortable, let me know. She said they speak Spanish.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can get her up. She might be like, hell no, don't be putting me up there. She said, yes, okay, but I'm not visible. That's fine. Let me see if I can do this right. I'm gonna copy a link. I'm gonna post a link in the chat. Click on that for me, and I think it will allow me to bring you up.
I don't even know where that country is.
I don't know. I think it's in South America, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think somewhere down there. So just click on that link in the chat, Zaya, and there you go. All right. Add the stage.
Yeah, a lot of South American countries are in Spanish.
Can you hear Zaya?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for sharing. What have you lived in Paraguay? How long were you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys. For some reason, I'm getting double feedback. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Let me see. How long did you? Are you still having double feedback?
Let's see. I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we hear you just fine on this side.
Okay.
So you lived in Paraguay for a while?
Okay. There's a lag in our response. No, I live in Mexico now.
Oh.
Okay. What part?
I live in Mexico City.
Okay. How long have you been in Mexico City?
I've been in Mexico City now 8 months, and I'm on the second year of my residency.
Nice. Where did you come from?
New York City.
Okay, nice.
New York.
What has your experience been like? What do you? I mean, well, before we ask that, why did you leave the U.S. If you don't mind us asking?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I think I realized I had the YouTube channel still going and was in StreamYard, so I think now I won't get that second feedback or that slow lag time.
Cool.
So I left the U.S. really and truly. I left the U.S. in 2014. I started traveling in Southeast Asia, and then after 6 months of doing that, I moved to Vietnam. Actually, on 9/11/2014, I had some friends from work and a former business partner that was living in Hong Kong and Vietnam. And in January 2014, I was like, I really just want to leave New York. I just want a break. And I started traveling in that part of the world, ended up living out there for 3 years. Way before people were like, why are you going to Vietnam? Like my uncle was like trying to talk me out of it. And I always worked remotely. I'm a freelance writer. And I'm a medium as well. And so I ended up living out there, but one of the things that kept happening was dealing with the tourist visa drama, right? Like you're on these visas for 2-3 months. Yes. And then you got to run to another country. The last time I was in Thailand, where I was living there, I actually got stuck at the border. I had flown into Malaysia, got my visa stamped. That was a whole hassle because by that time I had been there 3 years. And when I got to the Thailand border, I chose to drive in with the service. They wouldn't let me in the country because I wouldn't put a bribe in my passport. I didn't know. I thought, I have my visa. Why do I need to pay you an extra $50? And I had no cash. So the driver, he was like, we got to leave you. He threw my shit out of the van and left me at the border in flip-flops. Thank God it was daytime. Wow. And it was like around November. When did that happen? That happened in 2016. And I had to walk back from Thailand border to the Malaysian border and spend $100 to get back into Penang, because I was like an hour and a half outside of Penang. So after that, I was like, I can't keep this. This has to stop.
How long was that walk for you?
That walk, it was like a 15-minute walk. They had obviously done this because there were taxis on the other side, thank God. But the crazy part is I only had service in Thailand, not Malaysia, so I couldn't even really call anyone. I had to straddle the border to like make a call. It was insane. But I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I started looking for countries in earnest where I could get a residency.
Did that make you, because I'm just sitting here thinking if I ran into a situation like that, that would really have me nervous. How did you feel? Were you afraid, nervous, scared? What?
I think, by this time I had been in that part of the world for 3 years. So I was, it's a slower pace. It's a more chill pace. Everything is so cheap. And I had different shenanigans that had happened over time. Like I flew in with only $900. Like, so I'm pretty resilient, and it's just me. Like I don't have a cat, a dog, a man, or a child. So I was just frustrated, but I knew once I got back into Malaysia, I could pay with my, I could get some cash. I went back to the hostel that I was in, and I got a flight, but it just hit me. But I did leave the country 2 months after that, and I went to Europe for like 6 to 8 months. Because I was very done. I was like, this could have went horribly wrong if I wasn't just a calm person. And Malaysia's English speaking. That helped a lot, because if I had been dropped into like Vietnam or Cambodia, that would have been, kind of crazy. But again, by this time, I'm so used to the culture and the art part of the world, my energy isn't going to like freak out like I would, let's say, in another, you know what I mean? They're calm, you have to be calm. So, and if that had been like my last like $20, but I had money in the bank, I just didn't know about the bribery and the passport. So all those things made a difference, but I did leave after that 2 months later. Stopped living there. Yeah. So it still shocked me. It still got to me, but I handled it, I think pretty calmly.
Let me just throw something out there to people, because me and Cortez done seen some people do some things that I didn't imagine people would do. Don't leave the country broke, people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had $944, but by the time I got from New York to Japan, because I was going to Vietnam, my check had come. So I was working remote. I think I'll just say this. I think some people, if you're single and you're kind of like, you can stay in hostels and do it really cheap, I think you can leave a little bit more broke than anyone else if you have money somewhat coming in. But some people think they need $30,000 and $25,000. If you have a family, that's a different ballgame.
You may not need that much, but I'm just saying, don't. And this is just my opinion. People can do whatever they want to do, but don't leave the country with no job.
Right.
$1,000.
No, I don't think that's
That's just not smart.
However, I have seen people do. I'm sorry, I just want to give people a little bit of hope, because because when I traveled, I was, I didn't make a lot of money. I was making like $2,000 a month. I didn't have any overhead, but I will say that if you are okay with like working for free in hostels for room and board, you can do it. If you're okay with working on cruise ships, if you're an English speaker, restaurants will hire you to stand outside to like on the tourist streets to bring people in. So I wouldn't move like that. If someone is like, this is all I got, I just want to make it happen, it's just me, and they got a backpack, they can try, I think. But go to really cheap countries where like $100 you can somehow live off of that for like 2 weeks.
Yes. And you had a job too.
I did. No, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was getting a check. I think my check at the time was like $2,800, $3,000 a month. So even though I flew in,
money in some countries is plenty of money.
That's a lot in Southeast Asia. Hell yeah, that's like $6,000 to $7,000 a month. Yeah.
Wow. And I agree with. Am I saying your name right, Zaya?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And I agree with her. When we left, man, I was living check to check. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I didn't have a whole lot of money in the bank, but I had money coming in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, okay, I've been living check to check. And even when I was making a lot of money, I would blow it. And I was still living check to check. So it was like, I survived living check to check my whole life. So as long as I have money coming in, I can survive check to check abroad. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's what the other gentleman's just saying. Like, don't go out there with nothing.
Yes.
Don't go out
there. You had checks coming in.
Yeah, I did. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend that I was like this, and it was a contract role I had already had for 2 years. So, but you guys asked me about Paraguay. So I have not been to Paraguay. So I follow a guy called Nomad Capitalist. I'm sure you heard of him.
Yeah.
Right, Contreras, you've heard of him. I've been following him for like 10 years. I remember when he was like first hiring his staff. Because I am a psychic medium, and I've known for a while that America's just going in the wrong direction, especially if you're a color. I've known this for like 10, 15 years. I've been telling people for 10 years, get a second residency. And so I've been looking at different countries. So Paraguay is, you don't have to show any income. It's probably best to work with a lawyer if you can, or if you speak Spanish, you can go down there and do everything, but you can get everything done like in a day. And they give you a 2-year temporary residency. You only have to show your face once to get the residency. I think go back to pick up the ID card, and then after that, you only have to be on the ground. As of right now, only 1 day a year, and you can keep your residency. After 2 years, it goes into permanent. So in Paraguay, once you also get that Paraguay residency, that you become something called, I think it's called Mercosur. Basically, they have agreements with because they're bordered by Argentina, Brazil, and I think is it Uruguay. So you get access to all. It's like you get like a little card access to all these other places where you're not as restricted as if you were just coming on a traditional.
It's right in the heart of South America.
Yes, it's right in that horn, absolutely, and it's very safe. You can buy land really cheap. You can, I know some people feel differently about this, but if they allow you to bring your own gun, if that's something you want to do, You know, there's a lot of like wealthier Argentinians and Brazilians and all that buy there. The thing is, there's no ocean. They have a river, but it's super chill. The people are brown because they're still it's called the Guarani people. So they're huge, still have their big indigenous population there that speaks that indigenous language, but the other language that they speak is Spanish, which is better than and easier than Portuguese, like they do in Brazil. So, yeah. So this is fun. I saw your email, Cartres. I'm Najwa. Actually, I've emailed you a few times, but I'm going to follow up with you because I want to look into buying a house. So yeah, but this is fun. I've been on the road for over 10 years, so I know a lot. Yeah, I was doing it. I was a digital nomad in 2014. People were like, "So you don't teach English?" I'm like, "No, I write for a living." And no one knew. And, you know, I'm a Black girl. No one knew what I was. They were like, "What?" It was interesting to get people's expressions and stuff. But yeah, I encourage everyone to move abroad if they can. I think, and Cartres, I've referred people to you on my Instagram. I was like,
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, I don't know the other gentleman's name.
Robert.
Okay, and you live in Mexico now?
Yes, I live in Merida.
Okay. Oh, you both live in Merida. It's not too hot for y'all. I had to leave Merida, y'all. I had to leave in 3 days. I almost died out there. It was so hot.
It's hot. Tell them the truth about this heat.
Look, I grew up between New York City and South Georgia, and Waycross, Georgia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with super deep South Georgia. And like, it's super hot. Like, you walk outside, you pop with sweat. I lived in Thailand. Thailand has you sweating in crevices you didn't even know you had. Merida is another level, and it's got to be Satan's butthole. I ended up losing $1,000 deposit because I told the guys, like, I can't do this. And it was so bad that I checked into like the Marriott. They have lovely hotels there, and I walked outside the Marriott to get lunch at high noon, and I felt my eyes literally kind of pop slightly out their sockets. And I ran back in the hotel to Google like what that was, and that was like a sign of a stroke. I don't know, like, I've never experienced heat like that. It's like,
what time of year were you here?
I was there, and of course, I didn't know, April, which is the worst. April, May. I was there in April, wearing all black like a freak, still being from New York. I was swelling out. But it's just, that's the only thing, you know, when I think about the cheap housing, I'm like, that's amazing, but you can't live there 6 months out the year. I don't know how you're doing it, Cartres. Did you live in Texas before here?
Nah, Robert from Texas.
I'm from Texas. It don't matter. The heat at that time of the year when you came is unreal. We talking 115, 110, no big deal.
I don't know how y'all alive. Even when you're in the air, and at the place I was staying, the air conditioning wasn't really up to par, but I don't know how y'all doing it. I really don't know. You have a pool? You both have pools?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't have one when I first moved here.
Huh?
I didn't have one when I first moved here.
Yeah. The place I was in didn't have a pool either. And I was, Merida is really cheap, I think, and I know it's a great like Black expat population. Like, everyone's super cool and, you know, really gets along. I'm in Playa right now for 2 months, just enjoying the heat, the gentle heat. And the Black people don't speak to one another here. It's weird. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It is crazy. It is crazy.
In Playa, you notice that in Playa as well?
Playa is a different it's a different vibe in Playa than it is here.
Yes. It's very, very, very different. So, yeah. Did you guys have any more questions for me?
I'm blown away. So 10 years of travel. You say you started in 2014. How old were you when you started, if you don't mind?
I'm not telling. I will never tell anyone my age, but I will say I was grown. I was in my 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
So, what would you say? Do you see yourself moving back to the States?
You know, for a while I was feeling homesick because Mexico City is a great city, but it's huge, so it can be hard to wrap your arms around meeting people. So I was looking at, you know, New York City because I tried to live in California, Miami, Philly, and just none of it really worked. You know, when you come from such a culturally rich place like New York City, and I enjoy the culture, it's hard to find that in other places, especially if you're not a driver. So I thought about it, but the rents are crazy, and I was not surprised by the presidential election results. I mean, it's America. They think. And anytime they put that man up against a woman, he's gonna win. Anytime. Because, you know, America doesn't like women and other people. So, you know, once that this week solidified me not returning. I'm like, yeah, okay, let me start building my credit out here. Let me go jump in some of these Spanish classes and really make this work. So I don't see any point. And even if she had won, the economy of America is insane the way it's going. Our debt is getting insane. It's just a boiling pot. And I've been saying this for years. I've been like, guys, you want to have an exit strategy, because when the shit hits the fan there, it's going to be devastating. And we're in a country of people who have done, overall, the middle class is the big class in America. So people are not used to suffering, not really. Even if you're poor and you're in the projects, you're still in the projects. You're not living on a dirt floor and some hole in the wall. And people, and I've been to countries where the poverty is heartbreaking. We don't know that type of poverty in America.
Yeah, you're right.
So any little thing that throws us off, that makes us uncomfortable, people are going to be really bad at how they react to it. Like, I've been able to be on the road and be pretty much good everywhere because I'm a slow reactor at this stage, and like, but most Americans are not like that. They're hot-headed, they get frustrated easily.
Absolutely. Wow. Well,
yeah. So 10 years. Yeah. So
10 years.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is look for a partner. Look for it. If you want a husband, look for it, because it's hard when you're moving around like that. So now that's why I came to Mexico too, because I'm just trying to like settle and anchor in.
Look for a partner while you out or before you leave. What are you trying to say?
If you have a partner that wants to do that with you, great. But I think, especially as a single woman, have an idea. Like, if there's certain things you want in your personal life, you should keep that front of mind. So like, I love Southeast Asia, but I wasn't interested in any of the men there. They don't have enough money. They're a little bit effeminate. It's just I'm not attracted to them. Versus here in Mexico is different. So if I had really, really focused on that, I would have moved to a country where there was dating opportunities for me sooner. And that's what I'm saying. If folk don't forget those things, if family and a relationship and all those things are important to you, because being on the road can be very addictive.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it.
Being on the road can be
very addictive. It's very addictive. You just go new places, new people, new foods, new culture. It's your mind is always being engaged. If that's your thing, if you like that, and I do. So it's like, I used to travel through like 3 new countries in 2 months. Like, it was like, for a while, I had those months where I travel really slow and I'm in a place for a year. And then I have 6 months where I'm in like 8 countries, especially in like the cheaper places like Southeast Asia or Europe, when you get on these trains and buses, or even Africa when you get on these buses. It gets real cheap, and you're like, oh, I want to see this. I want to try that. I want to see this, So you just have to be mindful, I think. But I think everyone should leave. I think all Black people should leave America.
Hold on. Tap the brakes there a little bit now. Not all.
I think everybody that's Black in America need to get the hell up out of there. Why you said not all? You funny.
Well, not all, not everybody.
I just realized what he's saying.
Yeah, they be bringing out them American ways over here. Nah, tap the brakes.
What I'm about to say is horrible, but when I meet Americans who just moved abroad, I give them 6 months to cool off before I try to connect with them, because America is a very angry place, and people don't realize it.
Yeah, and short patient.
Yeah. Oh, Kurt Trace, I look forward to meeting you. I am going to connect. So
likewise. So thank you for sharing your experience. If you like, go ahead and give yourself a shout out to your YouTube channel or ways people can contact you.
I guess Instagram. Do I type it here in the chat? I don't know. Instagram?
Yeah, you can do both. Say it on here and
okay. Yeah, I'm Psychic Zaya. I don't really do anything on YouTube. I have a channel, but it's nothing there. Or Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. Yeah, if people have questions or whatever. This was fun. Thank you. So unexpected.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm gonna tune in on the YouTube channel again.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, peace. Bye-bye.
Right. So I like what she said about that residency in Paraguay. You get, after 2 years, you can get that permanent. Because I think it's a good idea to have multiple residencies and visas in other parts of the world in case something pop off. And if that's easy to get, and then you get access to those other neighboring countries, Argentina, Brazil. I think, what else did she say? Something else was.
You got Brazil, Argentina. Those are the big ones. Bolivia, and those are the ones that's around it.
Okay.
Brazil is covering half of it.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So I'm gonna check that out, because it's better to have options, man, especially with the way the world is changing and rolling right now. But thanks, Zaya. I appreciate your time. Listen, y'all, and she's been female rolling around on her own by herself, all these places all over the world. You know, just got to do it. You know, but like Robert said, don't come here without a job. Don't come here without having a source of income. And
big savings, one of the two.
Exactly. You know, so and I ain't gonna lie, I showed up when I got my PPP. What is it that
yeah, I know what you're talking about, that check.
That check, you know, because I had a business. I got some money, got a lump sum of money.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled on through. I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this money, I'm gonna make the best of it. I didn't go out there and blow it, you know, because tax season is coming up for many of y'all.
Yeah.
You know, I took that money, I was like, what is the best possible thing I can do with this money where I can get it to yield back a better quality life? You know what I mean? I didn't go buy no TVs. You hear a lot of people going buy TVs, buying cars and rims. I was like, man, let me go buy a place to live, get a place to live in another country and restart, reset, get my finances in order, try and get my credit straight, and kind of rebuild, you know what I mean? And so that's what we did, you know. Just wasn't frivolous with the money. I was getting too old, and I'm like, man, I got to get my money right. I got to get this thing right. So that's what we did. Now you more financially, Robert's financially literate, very literate when it comes to these finances. And you said yourself, it took a long time to learn how to get because you do a lot of investing and trading online and whatnot. So for him, it's, I got to have that savings, have that money right.
My parents always told me, don't go nowhere broke.
Yeah.
Okay. So what broke is to different people is a different thing, but I just don't believe in, for me, I couldn't see myself leaving the whole country with $1,000. That's just me. And if I did, it's because I got income coming in. You know, I wouldn't do that and didn't have income coming in. So, because to me, that's just because anything can go wrong. Look what happened to us, Cortez. You got sick. Your daughter got sick. I got injured. Had to stay in the hospital for 12 days.
Yeah, I see you. Yeah, you're right.
So I'd never been in the hospital before in my life. I get here and have to be in the hospital twice.
Yeah.
So, if you can keep from it.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the realistic things. I mean, you know, in terms of step 3 financial preparation. Many of these countries are going to require proof of funds. They're going to want to see if you have income coming in, because they don't want you coming into the country leeching off of their resources or having to provide for you. So they're going to verify all of that. And like Robert said, just having that extra money because emergencies happen. Like he said, I've never been in the hospital. I never had surgery. Get here, need surgery. Daughter needs surgery. We lived in a hospital, in the healthcare system. When my daughter, we got here, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And man, those costs add up. While the cost of healthcare is cheap, they add up. But when we lived in that hospital for about a year, until we were able to get her stable. And it was no joke. And the hospitals in different parts of the world, see, this ain't the United States. This is why you got to do your research. You go in the hospital and get sick or get a surgery and you don't have the money to pay, you don't leave. Either you don't leave, they won't let you go, or they won't do the surgery to save your life or to get you. It's their choice. And most of the time, if you don't have the money, you don't get treated.
Hey, let me answer what's the name question right quick. She said that I get injured. I ran into a pole on my bicycle one time and I got injured. And then another time I got pneumonia and had to be in the hospital for the 12 days. And see, what else did you ask me here? I'm looking at a couple of things. Oh, do I think if you were younger, you can take more chances? Of course. If you're single and younger, I mean, you can take more chances than you can if you come over here with your family or if you're older. So, yeah, I agree with, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, but yeah, they like Robert when he was in the hospital, if he didn't pay that bill, they ain't gonna let him out.
They wouldn't let him out. They would
They
just
ain't gonna
shoot
let
him
him
up.
out.
They won't let you out. And
You
luckily,
know?
I had insurance.
Uh-huh.
So that helps some. But what if you don't have insurance?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, and you only need, it's just different with a family. If you're single,
you can get by.
You can get by.
Yeah.
You take all kinds of chances when you're like 30 or 20 something that you won't take when you're 50.
And when you have kids, they just do dumb stuff. Like mine, all the houses here, concrete floors.
Yeah.
Tile, ceramic tile. They want to run around and flip. And after being in the hospital, Haley was in the hospital for a year, me having surgery, I was like, look, y'all start flipping around this damn house before y'all hit your head. Or they'll strap each other up on their shoulder and running around the house. I'm like, stop. Ain't nobody got time to be taking y'all to the hospital because you're going to hit your head. I don't got $1,000 to be paying out of my doggone pocket with this foolishness.
Nope.
$1,000
may be cheaper than what it was would be in the U.S., but it's still $1,000.
Exactly. And then it might turn into something serious when now we in jail because we didn't pay the bill.
Yes.
So it's different here. Make sure you understand the culture where you going.
Hey, Tracy.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you. Let me see. So get that money right, man, because it can save you. Like I said, if I was by myself, it'd be different. But when you got kids, man, and the older I get, and even now, I pay extra attention and be extra careful as I'm walking down the street. When you get older, your bones a little bit more brittle and all of that. And I'm like, man, I don't got time to be breaking no hip over here.
Yeah, I know that's real. And I still keep doing stupid stuff, but yeah.
So in y'all research, investigate what your healthcare options are, investigate if your insurance will carry over. And while you're investigating the healthcare options in the country you're looking at, verify that your insurance will work there. Many of the hospitals, they have an administration section where they will let you know if they will accept your American health insurance. But you got to ask, you just got to do the research. Most places won't allow you to work in that country. They generally give priority to their people, to their citizens. You know what I mean? So ideally, you're going to want to have a job. You're going to want to have income coming in before you start leaving. And so another thing you want to do is investigate costs for housing, whether you're renting or buying. There are Facebook groups that you can join, and you can get real-time feedback and information about the housing market, about the schools in whatever country. So, for example, here in Merida, you go on Facebook, and there's a section in Facebook that says groups. You just click groups, and then you just type in the name of the country or the city that you're going to. So, for example, here you can type in expats or foreigners living in Mexico, or foreigners in Merida, or foreigners or expats living in Vietnam. And it'll bring up all the groups related to the category that you typed in, and you can join these groups. And some of these groups will have 5,000 or 30,000 people in the groups. And these are people that live there in those cities, in those countries. And you can go in there and type in your question, ask about the schools, ask about whatever you like. Best part of town to live in. Is it dangerous here? Instead of listening to feedback from friends and family, you go online and get feedback from real people that are actively living in those towns and get real feedback. So you got to dig in. It's very, I know when we first got here, before we got here, we were doing all the research. What side of town should we live in? What are the hospitals like? What schools should I send my kids to? And so, and because there's a lot of people in there in these groups asking the same question over and over again, you can go in the groups and just research, use the little search filter, and just find stuff without even having to ask, because years of data is already there for you.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, somebody said stop trying to scare people. You don't have to leave, people. In fact, I don't want y'all to come. Okay, at least not most of you anyway. So if you're happy in the U.S., stay, please stay.
Yes.
We're only talking about people that's thinking about changing. That's all.
Exactly. So let's see. Kip says, let me pull his thing up.
The population is growing too fast here anyway.
Cynthia, yeah, it is. But that heat run them off. That's why why I like the heat. It run them off. It keeps it from getting overly crowded.
Yes,
I agree. The kryptonite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because we do have hurricanes here. They say we've been lucky where we haven't been hit that bad, but we in that area.
Absolutely. Cynthia asks, how many friends and family have visited you since you've been in Mexico?
You want to go or you want me to go?
You go ahead.
Okay, when I first came here and been here maybe 90 days or so, I had 2 sisters to come visit me. And then since then, I had 2 kids to come visit me. And that's it. I got a brother and a nephew that's supposed to come visit me in January. But in the beginning, nobody wanted to come visit me because they thought I was crazy for coming over here in the first place.
And I only had my daughter. She's just turned 25 from Florida. She's the only one that's come to visit. My mom is still kind of nervous about traveling. Our son hasn't made his way down here yet. And, and it's oftentimes here, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a fundamental mistake a lot of people make. When they move here, they get larger homes or apartments to accommodate who they believe are people that's going to come visit, family and friends and their children.
Yeah.
So they get that extra bedroom and they don't show up.
They don't show up.
So don't come and spend that extra money on an extra room.
Yeah.
Thinking they coming. If they do come, put them in a hotel for 3 days or 5 days.
Airbnb or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not that expensive.
And so that'll be cheaper than spending that extra money on that extra room.
Yep.
We see it over and over and over again. Everybody getting these extra rooms.
Think everybody coming to see you. Guess what? They ain't coming.
If
you like my family, half the people didn't even have passports.
That part right there.
So even if they say they coming and they never apply for that passport, they ain't coming.
So save your money. What's Tracy Reed said, how did they like it? Yeah, what were their preconceived notions before they came, and what was it like when they actually showed up?
Okay, I had 2 sisters that come. One of them loved it, and one of them, she didn't like it at all. She said she didn't like it. It wasn't Americanized enough for her. Okay, so she went back and said she'd never have to come to Mexico again. And then my 2 daughters, one of them, she done been here like 3 times. This is one of her vacation places every year. And then the second one finally came this year, and she's the same way. So for them, they see it as a cheap place to go vacation. All they got to do is get on a plane ticket because the hotel they can stay with me. So they loved it. So
exactly
for different people.
Yeah. And Mexico is huge.
Yeah. And
many parts of Merida is very, very modern. The malls, shopping centers, a lot of modern places and things. And we're in the South here. And there's other parts of Merida, not Merida, but of Mexico where it is absolutely gorgeous, very modern, probably more modern than the United States. So you got to go check out some of these places and see, before you settle in. I think he's smiling.
Yeah, one guy said that he can't wait to move so his family won't visit.
Yeah, and that's a good reason.
If you're trying to get away, tell them it's dangerous over here so they won't show up over here.
Exactly.
And my experience is only in Merida. I don't have experience all over, Mexico and nothing. I can just tell you about a couple of times where I didn't visit Cancun and Playa and places like that over there. And then here in Merida. That's about it for my Mexico experience.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop a link in the chat box. If anybody want to chat, talk, come up on the stage, click on the link and I'll bring you up. Feel free to share any experiences of travel or your opinion on anything. And how do we get in touch with Robert? She also asked earlier, do you teach trading?
I have a YouTube channel, okay? Tomorrow I'm putting out a video I went over about 10 things that you can get or do or whatever here in Merida that has helped me to make my transition here a lot easier, okay? And they simple things. I made a list of about 30 things, but 30 is too many to talk about. So I'm just going to cover about 10 of them. And I'll tell you, one of the main ones is get you some friends. And get you some friends that live here, not just friends that are visiting and going back. Remember we talked about that a while back, Cortez?
Yeah. You
need friends that are here. Otherwise, you will be by yourself, especially if you're coming here single.
Especially.
So it's kind of funny when you hear me on this video because I'm talking about some simple little things, and I don't want to give them away. So you just got to go there and check it out.
I put a link to your channel in the box.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it.
So check out the channel, and you teach trading, day trading as well.
And I teach day trading as well too. And what I mostly teach is income strategies about trading options on the stock market, and it's slow life trading. So, and in my videos, I talk about trading. I call it slow life trading. Okay, so I talk about the slow life here in Mexico, and then I talk about trading here in Mexico. So, I try to have a little fun with it. It's pretty cool.
And Tracy asked, can you please tell us more about day trading?
Okay, Tracy. I teach trading with options. And I don't even know how to tell you more about it. I teach trading with options. And to me, I think I've kind of flipped the script upside down because I'm not trying to teach you how to make a crazy amount of money every day. But I'm just trying to teach you how you can just kind of make consistent wins day after day after day, and how to do it without picking the direction of which way you think the market is going to go. I think that's one of the biggest things that makes what I'm doing so different. You don't have to be right on the direction to win on your trade. And for me, I think that's pretty cool. So check me out.
And I put a link to his website as well. And you can sign up for his, he has a free mini series kind of breaking down his process and tips about trading and breaking down the basics. So I put that slowlifetrading.com, www.slowlifetrading.com. Let's see here.
One guy say he wanted to move here. His dad thinks that Mexico is dangerous. From what I hear, there are parts of Mexico that is dangerous, but Merida is not one of them. And so for me right now, I love it here.
Very safe. And it's no different in the United States. There are many parts of the states where it's very dangerous, very unsafe. Even in Atlanta. I mean, I used to live outside of Atlanta, 45 minutes away from the city center. And I mean, there are parts of Atlanta we just wouldn't go to. It was just dangerous every night. Somebody getting shot, getting killed. traffic, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, very violent area in different parts of Atlanta. So, and it's no different here. There's just certain parts where there's more crime than others, and there's other parts where there's just very minimum crime, you know. And so that's one of the reasons we moved from Atlanta towards further out. And, you know, every place has crime, but it's very minimal, very little. And so you just pick the safest place. And for us, it was just like, hey, Merida is one of the safest places. And there's other cities in Mexico that's
Safe
very
as well.
safe.
Yeah.
Very safe. You know,
I will say this: when you looking for someone to ask about moving here, don't ask your family members, okay? Because if you really want to know what it's like, they don't know. They're gonna be afraid for you, scared for you, think you're gonna go over there and get kidnapped and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I wouldn't even. For me, when we was moving, we didn't ask them about that. We made up our own mind because they was afraid for us. They was, oh man, they was afraid for us. Okay.
wow. Let me ask you a question. Leslie wanted to know, is slow life trading available to Canadian investors?
Yes. All you have to do is be able to have a brokerage account. And anybody anywhere that has a brokerage account, slow life trading is available.
There you go. So again, yeah, I'm gonna put a link in the chat box. If you have a question, or if you want to share your opinion or share anything that you think would be useful or helpful, click on that link, and it will allow me to bring you up on this stage to ask questions or share your opinion. Ahika or Ahike, please help me find employment because I have loved living abroad. I lived and worked in South Korea, South Africa, Saipan, Northern Marinas Islands, Cambodia, Afghanistan,
Wow.
Ghana, Egypt. Wow, you've been all over the place. Wow.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear some of your experiences. If you like, click on that link. Share your experiences. But there's a couple of sites called Indeed.com, FlexJobs.com. These are job boards that you join. Some you pay a $10 a month subscription. And the thing that I've been hearing from other people that's been landing these remote jobs is they constantly submit. They submit and submit and submit over and over again for hours every day for 3 and 4 weeks. And at some point, I see you here, Ahika. I'm going to click you on in just a moment. The key is submitting, modifying the resume to match the job that you're applying to, and you'll get the job. You got to stick with it. You got to stick with it. So just that little tip there. So Indeed.com, I'm going to type it in the comments, and Indeed.com, and the other one is FlexJobs.com. People have been having great results there. So, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Oh,
We can hear you. What's your name? How do we say your name?
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate this. I'm Ajika Omajala. AJ's
yes.
fine. That'll work.
AJ.
Whatever you want to call me, just not
Okay.
late for dinner. AJ will work.
Okay.
Right.
You got a question you want to ask her, Robert?
Yeah. I'm an old lady. I'm 54. I've got to find employment, gentlemen. I'm currently working in Stinking USA, and I'm working for a university. I've done international NGOs. That's another thing. People of color, we need to start some international NGOs and get some of these federale dollars. And I've got a lot of great ideas I would love to do with that, but that's a whole nother story. But I have
What
got
are NGOs, if you don't mind me asking?
international, non-governmental organizations. So if you had a business like in Ghana and you wanted to make it international and get, funding from America, you could do so many different things. I work with students all around the world. I hate it, being a person of color. People of color don't want to listen to you, but, Asians, I've helped a lot of people throughout the world, get into higher ed and get scholarships and, do what it is that they need to do. But at 54, nobody is buying what I'm selling, meaning wanting to pay me money. And I'm literally stuck. I have got to get back out of this rut. I love Ghana. I love Cambodia. I mean, if I'll tell anybody, if a Negro will leave and go to Afghanistan, and I wasn't in the military, I
That's
worked
what I'm
at the
thinking.
hello. I worked at the American University in Afghanistan. If you saw those pictures with the Taliban and people
Wow.
jumping on planes, and
Yeah.
we were only able to get about 300 students out of there, and we had over 2,000. But
Wow.
I've got truckloads of stories, but I would love to move to Mexico. I have got to get out of here. I'm literally
Where are you?
dying in this country. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina, and I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
why.
Okay.
I'm from Chicago, but I do not know why. I made it back in here. And when the other sister that was just on was talking about money, I'm an older person. The
Okay.
beauty that I tell people wherever I go around the world is that I just have my wits about me being from Chicago. I'll have a credit card and I got a U.S. passport. And that's it.
That's
Other
it.
than that, I am the working poor, where it's just like from paycheck to paycheck. I was able to travel and go to Vietnam, go to Paris, go to Amsterdam, working abroad. I
Yeah.
mean, when I went for my first job in South Korea, you all would laugh at me the amount of money that I had, but my employer was paying for my housing. So I
Mm.
was like, "Ooh, I can eat some rice or something on the streets, or
That's
I'm
the
gonna make it
biggest
work."
thing. In those, okay, from what I've seen, if you can get there and then if you have a place to stay that's no charge, you don't need much money to live.
Right. I mean, all my employers for all the places I mentioned, they paid for my plane tickets. That's step
Oh,
one. They
well,
paid for my housing.
yeah.
It's a wrap. Get me out of here. I'm
Yeah.
ready to come to Mexico tomorrow.
It's a
Look.
wrap. But you can eat. All you had to do was eat. You can eat for.
And the healthiest I've ever been at 54 has been out of this country. This year alone, because the job that I've had, pays good health insurance, I've had $65,000 total knee replacement. I've had, just a lot of work done being in this sick place. And it's just, to me, America is debt and death. I got to get out of here.
It's
I
a guy that I
got
know here. He had hip replacement surgery
Hmm.
here in Mexico. It cost him $5,000 out of pocket. I mean, he didn't have
65,000.
insurance. It cost him $5,000 to have hip replacement surgery. Okay. And in 3 months, I mean, before he had that surgery, he was miserable. 90 days after he had that surgery, he was a new man.
Wow.
Okay, so it can be pretty nice.
But I'll tell anybody, get out of here, guys. You'll love it. Really, don't worry about get hung up on ages and being alone. Right. You can make friends wherever you go. You really
Yeah.
can.
Let me ask you this question, if you don't mind asking.
Yes, sir.
When you lived in all those places and you worked in all those places, because people think you need way more money than you think you may need. What kind of income were you making monthly?
Woo, now you done hit a nerve because I've never made the amount of money that I should be earning. I have a master's degree in counseling. I'm currently working online remotely for higher ed, and I'm getting paid pennies on the dollar. But the first job again, South Korea teaching English, and for the amount, I mean, they were paying for my housing. So when you think about it, what was coming out of my pocket? Yeah, I had bills and credit card bills in America. I think in a couple of places I had a car, but I had a car in Saipan. That's the Northern Marianas Islands. I had a car when I was in Ghana. And don't ever buy an American car in Ghana. That was like stupidity. But I had a Ford Focus, which was not smart. But I tell you what, I've had some stories. But not a lot of money. But I'm telling you, the way you live and just, I mean, and you really live abroad. Here, it is hand to mouth. You get it, it's gone in America. And you got to have 2-3 jobs just to be able to sustain yourself. And you're miserable and you're unhappy. And maybe I'm just speaking for my own personal.
No, you're not. That's the way it is.
But at 54, divorced, no children. Look, I'm ready to come and house sit for anybody that's got a nice house over there on the beach. I'm ready. Look, look, but I'm not doing no pets. I'm not watching your dogs. None of that.
You're not into that part.
No, sir, I can't do it.
What's been your favorite place that you stayed at, lived in?
I loved Ghana and I love Cambodia. I mean, because the people. Whenever I go to places, my people are the locals. It's really not expats. You know, I have expat friends, but the
Uh-huh.
locals are going to be the ones that are going to look out for you. So if I move to
Absolutely.
Mexico, those will be my best buddies. It won't be beautiful people like yourself. Y'all are going to be my buddies, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
locals, those are going to be the people that are going to help and assist you. So from Pacific Islanders to Ghana to Cambodia, I really love Cambodia. I was in Siem Reap. I live not that far from Angkor Wat, and I love Ghana. I lived in Tema in Ghana. It was everything. But then you got to think about. I've lived in a lot of these places abroad where I lived like the locals, but
Mhm.
then when I first got there, I lived like an American. And when all my money was gone to electricity bills,
You have to
where I was
clean up.
paying more for electricity than my rent, and it was like, well,
Yeah.
wait a minute now.
Yeah. When you first come here as an American, that can easily happen because you'll be leaving the house with the air conditioning running,
Yeah.
and that's not what you do here. When you leave the house, turn your air conditioner off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's like, I tell you, if things got bad, we could downsize and downgrade and cut our expenses and still be very comfortable living here. We can move into a house out here that might have that 2 or 3 bedrooms for $350 a month. And because you don't have that mindset of trying to keep up with the Joneses and having trying to keep up to have all this fancy stuff, I think even that we will be very, very comfortable,
Hmm.
and keep more money in your pocket. I see a lot of people come and they'll tell me, Cartez, my budget is $300 a month for a house, for a rental. And they don't want to see anything beyond it. They already got their numbers. And they're like, I'd rather spend $300 a month so I can free up the rest of my money, because what I really want to do is travel and explore other parts of Mexico and visit the neighboring countries as well.
Hmm.
And so their priority was, in order to do that. And then when you start looking for a place for $300 in that range, you actually start finding some real nice stuff. But what we did when we first showed up, it was like, my budget, I'm willing to spend up to $1,500 a month. And now you get stuck in that thing. You still thinking like an American, living like an American, and you're not living like a local, because most of the locals won't pay nearly that much to live. You know what I mean? And even now, even down to the foods, we went out there buying steaks, seafood, and all of that. But the locals, man, these are people that might have a family of 5 and they living on $500 a month. They
Mm.
staple food, beans, rice, tortillas. Because I was looking at my grocery bill, I'm like, man, why my stuff so high? How is this family of 5 living on $500 a month?
Hmm.
And I'm spending more than that just on groceries. And so I started to look and see and ask questions. And I'm like, they eating a little bit of meat, beans, rice, tortillas. And it's like, okay,
Soups.
I could cut the soups. I can cut my cost down if I change how I've been doing things. Eating food that wasn't good for me in the first place.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And gain no.
I You're mentioning so many great things. When I lived in Cambodia, I lived first as an American and then I lived as a Cambodian. And I mean, stuff like having refrigerators and what do you need a refrigerator? You go out and eat. You go out and have drinks with friends. You know what you need. You go out and get whatever you need to cook, and you're also cooking outside. Like in Ghana and Cambodia, of course they've got places where you cook inside and you have your
Yeah.
stove and everything. But when you are with the locals and the people, and I mean, they take care of you. They take care of you.
Hey, they know how to squeeze a dime way harder than we do in the
Oh
U.S.
yeah.
See,
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
not going anywhere to reinvent the wheel. Like I meet people everywhere I go, and it's like, hi, if I can get somebody that can speak the language, it's like, no, sweetheart, I don't need you to think for me. Just translate, and I'm going to figure out what it is that I need or want, or is this cell phone plan good for me? Or I already got a Google Fi SIM card. Just how do I get this hooked up to that? And you figure out the utilities or what have you, because with my jobs that pay for the housing, if I've decided to stay past a contract, then it's just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I found it very hard for me to live two places though, and I got out of those places quick. That was Egypt and South Africa. South Africa, I was in the cut. I was in not in great places like Johannesburg or Cape Town or Durban. I was in the cut, Hazy View and Mpumalanga, and apartheid, racism, real,
Wow.
real. So it's just like, let me show myself to the door. That's one thing about being an old lady. It's like, let me look. An old lady knows when to leave. It's like, let me back up out of here before I have issues. So let me
So
get out.
racism down there is real for real, huh?
I mean, if you think about racism, for me as a 54-year-old black woman living in Greenville, South Carolina, it's real here. So apartheid is within our lifetime in South Africa. It's real still there.
Wow. Man, I thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I brought you up because I just like people to hear other people's stories and experiences, and I hope that the stuff that you shared, I believe it's going to be an encouragement to many people just to kind of get out there and do it, because you
Thank you, brothers, because you all are encouraging me. I have been an individual that does not know how to use my skill sets to benefit me. I go to work in places and I make other people money. So with you gentlemen making your own money, being your own businessmen, you can pick up and go anywhere. So I'm looking for a job at 54, which is whack. So
I would encourage you, and some people have made comments in the chat box. I would encourage you to do your own thing. That'll be the ultimate freedom. And it sounds like you have the background and experience to do this. And I know you said you tried to do it before and just couldn't make it work, but I would pursue it again. Sometimes it could just be the messaging, the marketing angle that you're using, but I wouldn't give up on doing it for yourself, because it sounds like you've done very well for others and you can do the same for yourself.
yay, thank you. You guys are a blessing. I appreciate it, everybody. And get out of this country, good people. Get out. I'm trying to get back out. I should have never came back. I was down to my last 10,000 in Ghana, and I was like, girl, you better get up out of here.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. We appreciate you, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay, we got one guy on there that say, I'm 53 and would love to move abroad, but his wife is 1,000% against it. He said he would sell everything and move today if he could. Hey, for you, I would say take a vacation and come here and visit and see how she likes it.
Exactly. Bring it down. I mean, that's this path of least resistance. Just bring it down, check it out. You can talk to her about it all day long, but until they come and see it for themselves, and you might have to bring her down here a few times before she really gets it. Because you had that experience. Your wife, you were like, why am I going to Mexico? But when you got here, it changed.
And then I'm going to tell you one more thing. On Saturday mornings, about, I think it's like 8 o'clock, they have an expat group. They usually walk that park for about an hour. You're walking with other expats. That's kind of how I met a lot of my friends. Well, what you get from that walk is you get a chance to see people that are visiting here, some people that live here, and you get to have a slow walking conversation with whoever it is that you pick. Okay. And you or she, your wife, get to hear from somebody with boots on the ground, live, not just a text. And you actually get to be here as well. So I think that would be one way to try to help convince your wife if you want to move here.
Absolutely. I'm reading this comment from David. He says, just another day. I love living here. I surf, and the weather and surf are great here. You can spend your days outside here year round. Surprisingly, it's not a big expat hotspot, so it's affordable. Would you like to come up and chat, David? I put a little link in the comment chat box.
And then where do you live?
Click on that link, David, if you'd like to come up. Love to get your feedback.
This is what one of the guys said that we hang around. He say that people save all year to come and spend 1 week here to do what we can do whenever we want to.
Exactly.
Go to the beach, hang out there, whatever. They say, what's that MasterCard commercial? About something, a whole lot of money, and then but something else. I can't remember that commercial now. You gotta have MasterCard or something like that. Do you remember that commercial?
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
Well, we can take a vacation whenever we want to. Just head to the beach.
David says he's in Ensenada.
Where
I
is
think
that?
that's in Baja, California, near the California, near the. And I hear it's nice out there. David, if you don't mind coming up, click on that link. If you don't mind, like to pick your brain, because I've been looking at that area because we had some issues in the past about getting my daughter's medication, and so we have started looking at other places in Mexico to go. And we looked in that region because it was close to the border. And so my rationale was if we could find a border town and things pop off in terms of, medical reasons, we can easily drive an hour and a half and be in the United States, get medical treatment, and then come back if necessary. So
that could be a good idea.
And that could have saved me a few dollars quite a few times since we've been here. And from my understanding, many of those places that's near the border, I hear many border towns are not great, but I hear this particular part of Mexico is great. And it's a great place to get your feet wet without going all the way into Mexico. I mean, you still have that border an hour and a half away.
And it's not a dangerous border town.
Exactly. So
the guy who I bought my washing machine from, he is from a border town in Mexico, and he lived in Mexico and worked in the U.S. And so he got his income from the U.S., but he lived in Mexico. So, life was pretty good for him, but the crime. So he left there, and now he lives here. But he came here, started him a laundromat, and, he's doing pretty good. He's busy all the time, though.
Exactly. Oh, wow. Just another day in paradise, in regard to the young lady that we just had on. He said, start a YouTube channel. Someone will be interested in your skill set. I agree with him 100%. I think if you go online and start just sharing and teaching and sharing, people will call you. They'll do business with you. I would definitely encourage that for sure. Cynthia saying, please, David, come on up here. We want to hear from you. Waiting on David. Click on that link, David. Come on up. Chit chat with us for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Would love to hear from you. Commercial says priceless. That's Carla.
Yeah, I see that.
Again, living abroad, I mean, it's a very realistic thing and a very real possibility for you if you just plan it out. And as you've heard from some people, you don't need a lot of money. If you got some money coming in, you just need to get there. My daughter now, she talking about, Daddy, I'm gonna go in Asia. I'm like, you don't got no job. She's like, well, I just need to get there and I'll work it out. You know what I mean?
Right. We'll work it out all right. Hey, Dad.
I'm like, nah, that's not a good plan.
That's not a good plan, baby. That plan don't work.
Your idea of working it out is getting there and then calling me.
That's exactly.
And I'm like, that ain't gonna work,
No.
But yeah, you just gotta plan it. Again, check out the language requirements. If you don't want to learn the foreign language, don't go to that place. If you say, hey, I just want to speak English, do the research and
Find your
specifically
English-speaking
look
country.
for English-speaking countries. And again, in Asia, like the young lady was just saying, they speak English. Just because you're in Thailand, don't mean you have to learn Thai. English is widely spoken in Thailand, so you just got to do the research and find those places where English is spoken. So,
Yeah.
Again, investigate the housing costs, healthcare access, et cetera, et cetera. You're going over these notes.
One thing that I would tell people, wherever you go, put your flex hat on. And let me tell you what I mean when I say flex hat. Wherever you go, guys, you're not living in the U.S. anymore. So don't start yelling at people when things don't go the way that you expected them to go, because you're in a different country and they do things totally different than what you expect. In one of the videos that me and Cortez made, I told the people when they were doing my house, I wanted my plugs outside to be waterproof. So what he done, instead of just giving us an outdoor plug, with the seals around it and the cap over and all that, which is what I was expecting, what he did, he put the plug up like 4 feet. Like, and if it's up 4 feet, it should be out of the water, right? So, different people expect different things or do different things in different countries. So when stuff happens, I call it wearing your flex hat, which means that you're able to bend and move and, not get too upset. Just calm down. It's going to be okay. Remember, people have been living to wherever you go for many, 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 many years. And if they made it, you can make it. So just calm down and be flexible.
Absolutely. Because you're not going to win. You're not changing the culture.
No, you're not.
All you're going to do is stress yourself out, be frustrated, hit your head against the wall, and eventually you're going to leave. You ain't going to win. You are not going to win coming down here changing. Nothing's changing.
Nothing changes. Nothing's going to change. And then here the other thing is, guys, the U.S. has companies all over the world, okay? One of the things here that can help you kind of be calm until you get situated, we have Walmart, Sam's, and Costco, okay? Being able to go to those stores and find things that you used to looking at, in the beginning especially, that's a lifesaver. It really is, because I remember when we first came here, we saw chickens hanging by the neck. Man, that was scary. Now, no big deal. I tell them to cut that chicken down and wrap it up and give them to me now. But wouldn't have done that before. So you change.
Oh yeah, you change. I got a lady who's looking to buy a house and was referred to a local attorney who's comes highly recommended, and and she ready to buy, got all her money and she ready to go. But need the attorney to do the paper, to get the trust set up and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she reached out to the attorney on Monday. Today is Thursday. Still ain't heard from the attorney. And so I messaged the attorney. I said, hey, this lady been trying to reach out to you since Monday. And so she's like, oh, I'm going to get back to him. I'll follow up. But it was Wednesday, yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like, they waiting on you. She's like, well, I was busy. I was doing some other stuff with some other clients. I'll contact them today. So that was today. So even now, they still hadn't heard from us. I sent her another message earlier, and she was like, oh, I'll give them a call tomorrow or Monday. And I'm like,
hold on, back up, Chris. Back up, Cortez. You froze up. You said that was on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, so that was on Wednesday. So she was supposed to call her today. Didn't call her today. So I messaged her again. I was like, hey, this lady is ready to go. She wants to hire you. But now she's frustrated that the lady, like, man, I ain't hiring that lady. And so she's like, oh, I'll get back to her tomorrow or Monday. And I'm like, why didn't you just email her or call her and let her know you got the message and that you're going to be following up with her? But that's just something they don't do.
It's not a big deal here.
They just slow moving.
Slow life.
Said it. And if you call them asking them why they ain't called, now they thinking you pressing them. You know what I mean? It's like, and it takes a long time to adjust to that. They're gonna call you. It's just not gonna be as quick as you think they're gonna call.
It's not gonna be on your terms. It's gonna be on their terms. And that may not be until next week.
And things like that. Sometimes it still drive me crazy, but man, it still, I ain't gonna lie, that still drive me crazy. I'm bothered that she ain't heard from that lady, but that's the culture here.
Yes.
They move like that. It's a normal thing. The only person that's tripping is me and her and that other lady. We the only one tripping.
The lady that's the real estate person, she like, what they upset about?
Exactly. And she really expects that you will be happily waiting on her next week.
Exactly. With no problem.
No problem.
No problem. Hey, David said he's ready now.
Oh, David ready? Okay, David, click on that link in the chat box. Let me go back up and find his comment. Because it sounds like David been living a good life.
Yeah, it does. Surfing and everything. Shoot, David sounds like a professional hanger-outer.
Yes. You should see a link in the chat box, David. Click on that and it'll bring you up. Let's see here. So there's a link in the chat box. Click on that. And once you click on it, it will allow me to bring you on. But yeah, Mexico has been great to us. 3.5 years strong.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm
living in my third place. What about you?
Yeah, this is number 4, I believe.
Number 4.
I'm gonna hang tight here until we buy our bill. Let's see.
I lived in neighborhoods where, the dogs bark and wake you up or keep you from sleeping or whatever. In this neighborhood, we only been here about 3 months. About 4:30 in the morning, 4:40, we got to deal with the roosters crowing early in the morning. Okay. And we don't live in the country. We in the middle of the city.
Wow.
So you just have to adapt, man.
That's it. DJ says, what the F? I'm Mexican and that crap is not professional. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It drives me crazy. Now, I will say this. Other Mexicans from other parts of Mexico say that type of stuff is not necessarily a thing in other parts of Mexico. And that when they come down here, again, we're in the South. We're in the deep South. They say when they come down here, it's difficult for them to adjust.
I found out it's not just us, because you're right. Other Mexicans do have that problem as well. So I used to think it was a language barrier, or a translation problem. And then I get somebody to speak with them in Spanish and they same problem.
Exactly.
Just the way it is here.
Yeah, so it might be a regional thing. I met a lady from Monterey, and she was like, my mom was supposed to come live with me. My mom stayed here for a month. And she said her mama got the hell out of here. She like, these folks move too, they slow out here. She said they move too slow. And she thought it was just poor service. You know what I mean? People saying, hey, I'll be there at 3:00, and they don't show up until 3 days later without a phone.
Yeah.
Said her mom couldn't handle it. Mama said got on the plane and went back to Monterey.
It's hard to handle sometimes.
It can be.
There have been times where my garage door was stuck and I couldn't get my cars out of the car. I called my landlord, and then he called somebody to come and fix it. And that guy was supposed to be here at 12:00. At 2:00, he still wasn't here. So I knew a guy that lived down my street that was a welder. I had him to come up and fix it. He get it done in about an hour. Then by 5 or 6 o'clock, here comes the guy from my landlord. I'm like, man, the gate's done now, buddy. You can go. It's already fixed. Let me answer this question right quick from Ashley.
Go ahead.
She know that I was in the trucking business at one while and wanted to know how can how can she transition the trucking business to work here in Mexico? I don't know. I didn't do it. If you figure it out, hey, good luck. But I tried to make that work, and I couldn't do it. Trucks was breaking down too often for me to be this far away and try to manage my trucking business. I just wasn't able to do it. Sorry, don't have an answer for you on that one.
There you go.
Ashley.
So David, we wait. There's a link inside the chat box. Let me go to the private chat. Somebody left something there.
Cynthia, there's nothing wrong with renting for a while, okay? Because sometimes you rent and you move to different neighborhoods and you discover, okay, man, I thought I wanted to live here, but I don't think I do want to live here. I think I like this area better. So renting before you buy, I think that's a smart decision.
Definitely. I know we started out renting in the city and we moved around and we finally made our way out here to Concao, out in the suburbs of Merida, and absolutely love it out here in this area.
Yeah, I hate y'all out there because that's the reason why I'm not at your house now. You live too doggone far.
Too far. So yeah, it's coming and renting will give you the opportunity to see where you really want to be.
Different areas.
So yeah. Again, if anybody, I don't know if David hears us or if he's having some connection issues or unable to click the link. If any of y'all have any questions or want to share anything, click on the link and we'll bring you up and share your experiences or ask questions and we'll bring you on. Don't be scared. Some of y'all think, hey, I got to get out of here before inauguration day. Man, get them questions asked. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. I'm just looking at some.
Somebody was saying something about a hurricane coming by. I see it. It's in the middle of the Gulf, but it looked like it's based on my little map thing. It looked like it's supposed to go around us, but it's right there in the middle of the Gulf right now.
Here, David. We got them.
Okay.
How you doing, David?
Hey, how are you?
Well, we're doing well. Man, it sounds like you living a dream life over here. Where you at? Can you hear us?
Yep, that's me. I'm in Ensenada.
Ensenada. How long have you been living there?
Since November 22.
2022. What's a typical day like for you?
I think he may be having a connection problem.
Yeah, well, no, it's slow. I'm going real slow.
What's a typical day like for you in where you live?
I'm trying to say something and then it comes out a few seconds later.
Okay,
my average day here, basically, first thing I do is I go across the street. I have a fruit juice and vegetable stand right across the street.
How much did that cost?
I grab a juice and then I check the surf.
And you surf? Wow. So they have some real waves over there in Ensenada.
Yeah, they do.
Wow. Did you already know how to surf before you moved there, or something you learned and picked up once you got there?
Yeah. I've surfed since I was in fourth grade, and I was semi-pro in California.
Wow. What made you move to Mexico, if you don't mind us asking?
We've got a serious delay going here.
Yeah, we do.
That's it. Got a what?
Serious delay.
I'm tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw you out and then click the link again and come back in. We'll see if that fixes it.
Let me hit up Henry right quick. Henry say the time to escape was back when Joe Biden was first got into office as president. And I just want to say this right quick. Whichever side you're on don't win, you got people that want to escape. Okay. So there you go.
And and I don't generally talk politics at all.
Not a good topic. Not a good topic.
Because some people get angry, they get hot, and like you said, you made a good point. Even if Kamala won, the other side would be like, you
could have still had this conversation.
I'm getting the heck out of there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's going to, no matter who won,
no matter who wins,
they leave. Somebody on that side is leaving. And so the information that we're putting up, not that we're bashing Trump or anything like that. It's just, hey, here's some information. If you're looking to move for whatever the reason is, hey, here's some stuff to help you out. Here's the process that you can take, something to consider. And had the election went the other way, we still be doing
the same conversation.
We'd be having the same exact conversation.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to provide the best information. Laura, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up while we wait on David to click the link again. Go ahead. Laura, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Good evening. We hear you loud and clear.
I just got into the house and I just flew in from DC. I was up there at Howard University for the watch night. And but I came to Merida October of last year with my dog Barack, my little Yorkie, but he has since transitioned into another life, and so now it's just myself. But for the last year, I have been downsizing, and from my perspective, I am a retired military veteran, and I have also traveled the world. But my decision to leave was really based on economics, because when you are on a retirement, no matter how big or small, large or small, when the economy changes as quickly as it did here, as far as grocery bills just went crazy in the last year. You really have to play chess and think several steps ahead, several years ahead. How far will my money go in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? I'm 63 years old. I am a homeowner. However, insurance is high now. I live in Florida. So insurance is high on your homes. Car insurance is very high here. So those type of things for me, and then to safety as a senior by myself. So those are the key things that I had looked at. And, we had talked about that when I came to visit. And so I've just been downsizing slowly, and I decided to rent out my home instead of selling it. Um, because you don't know, I don't know if I'm going to stay there for the rest of my life
You're not
in
planning to
Mexico or
stay.
not. So I'm going to rent my house out. I have someone coming tomorrow who will rent it out for 1 January, and they want my home for 2 years. And I said, thank you, God. And I'm going to rent it out furnished. So I don't have to worry about getting rid of furniture. And I'm ready. I am ready.
So when you go back and think through, what was the defining moment that made you say, okay, I'm gonna move abroad? What happened? Was there a particular thing? Because oftentimes people think about it, they talk about it, but then there's finally that trigger. What would you say that was for you?
The trigger for me was the random crime here in America. The random crime. I mean, at one time, you can go in your home at night and you would think that the crime would occur after dark um, in certain areas, wherever you live. But now you can't even go to the supermarket at at noon. You can't, without someone, if they're not trying to carjack you in the parking lot, they're trying to rob you. Or, I mean, you can't go to the malls, you can't go to the movie theaters. It's just because of the randomness of the crimes now. And so that was very significant for me to make the decision to leave, on top of economics.
Now, what's your name again?
Laura.
Laura.
I
Okay.
didn't get a chance to meet you when I was there, when I was there, but I've heard a lot about you, Robert.
Mm-hmm. I hope it was good.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
But so yeah, I'm ready. I am ready. The only decision that I have now, my dilemma is, do I want to land in Merida, or do I want to go like around the Cancun Playa area? But I think I'm going to come there because I'm comfortable. I know Cortez. I met his family. Um, Everyone is genuine. And I think that's probably where I land first, but not so much probably staying for years.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is that you're coming to check it out and
Yes.
you're open and flexible. I think that's the most important thing. And you might
Yes.
hop around to 4 or 5 other cities or countries before you settle in on one that you really, really, really like.
Right, right,
That might be your forever home. So I mean, I think you're doing it the right way. That you won't know until you get there.
right.
You just don't know.
And see, when I was there, I got my permanent residency, and Cortez was instrumental in connecting me with the attorney, and she came to the hotel. I tell everyone, I watched the YouTube channels about residency, and everyone's situation is different.
Yes.
Some people have to travel to different states to get to qualify, because each state, each embassy and consulate here, they have different requirements based on the state that you're in. And so and it may take months to get an appointment. For me, it took less than a week. When I called, they said, "Can you come next week?" I said, "Yes, I can." And it was here in Orlando. And then I flew to Mexico probably like 2 weeks later. And it was done in 4 days. I stayed there 9 days. I think we were done in 4 days. And I had my permanent residency. So if anyone can get their permanent residency, get it. And then you won't ever have to worry about it again. You can go back and forth. I was under the impression that I had to live there to complete my residency, and you don't. You can go there, get your permanent residency, and come right back to the States and take care of what you need to take care of before you relocate to Mexico.
There you go. Man, and that's a good point. Once you get it, you got it. And there was another point I wanted to make. I just had a brain freeze.
And Cortez, I'm glad that I did it. And your attorney encouraged me because she said, you need to come because 1 January, the requirements were going to change. They were going to increase, which they did significantly. And so to be very honest with you, I would not qualify now.
That was the point I was going to make. You don't have to be retired or retirement age to start this residency process. There are 20-year-olds moving here and they're getting residency.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So get it now, because the only thing that's going to happen as each year go by, the financial requirements to get residency is going to increase. And if you wait too long, you may not qualify. Just like Laura said, she was like, I won't qualify if I waited. So do it now. You don't have to live here to get residency. You start the process in the United States, and you come here and you complete it, but you don't have to stay. You can get it done and go right back home. Like she said, she was here for 9 days. She got a permanent residency. She flew back home and she's done. She had that residency for the rest of her life. So you don't have to wait. I would encourage you not to wait. Do it sooner than later. I'm 50 now, and all my children, they have residency. The ones that are here, they have residency. In about another year and a half, I'll roll into 4-year permanent. I roll into to permanent, and my kids will automatically roll into permanent. And they're 16, 17, and they will be permanent residents for the rest of their life. When they have children, they can roll their children up under their residency. So do it now while you can.
Hey, let me ask this question for Deborah. She wants to know, how were you able to find that renter for your house back in the U.S.?
You hear that, Laura?
Yes. I live in a 55 plus community in Kissimmee, Florida. And we have realtors here that live in our community. And some of them specialize in just rentals. And then others, you want to sell your home. That's what they specialize in. I just happen to connect with a realtor who specializes in rentals. And so she has a network of people that are interested in renting when they move here first to see if they like the community before they purchase. So that's how I got set up with prospective people that were interested in my home. But you can go to any rental management company to see if they have people on the list that's interested in the type of residency that you have. And if you choose to rent your home versus selling it outright. For me, I don't feel comfortable selling my house and just leaving because, for one, the housing market here is so expensive. I would not be able to get back into it.
I understand that.
And so I didn't want that risk at this age.
Yes. You
So
weren't
that
ready to burn your bridge yet. I get it.
yes. And so I rather have someone that would be here that can cover the course, because I have HOA fees here and everything, and those are going up also. So, but if I, have a renter for 2 years, I won't have to worry about, prayerfully, them leaving,
Yes.
and me having to find, additional renters while I'm over in Mexico.
Yes. Which is always nice.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, awesome. Let me ask you one last question. Tracy Reed asked, and I know the requirement might have changed. If you could share, what are the basic qualifications and how were you able to do it so quickly? You mind sharing real quickly that process you had to go through, basic qualifications?
The basic qualifications for when I applied in Orlando, Florida. At that time, I think you had to have a monthly income of $4,200, and this was last year. So they have new requirements now. It was $4,200 a month, and you have to provide 6 months bank statements. You have to provide documentation. If you don't like paperwork, I suggest you don't mess with Mexico at all, because they love paperwork. The computers, you're not going to use an app. You're not going to use your desktop, laptop. They like paperwork. So
They love
get ready. So I had bank statements. I had to prove my military background. So I had to have my DD-214s, and I had like 6 or 7 copies of everything. You have to prove your residency here. So I had to have my mortgage statements with the address. But they give you a form with a checklist, and you go down that checklist and don't miss not one thing on that checklist. You can download it. If you go to the consulate websites, they have the checklist on there. Print out the checklist and check it off as you get each document that is required. That's my best suggestion to you. You do have to go to your banks to get your copies, to get certain things done, but get it done. Just check it off and just get it done. And then, before your appointments, and just have all your documents in. And I suggest at least 6 copies of everything.
There you go. And like she said, they love that paperwork. So you better not miss one single document.
No, sir. Because they don't care. They be like, I'm so sorry you don't have this. And Cortez, you made a good point about attitude. You cannot. I'm going to tell y'all real quick. My appointment was at 8:30 in the morning. I went there. I was the only African American in the whole place. It was 1,000 Mexican there getting their work paperwork so that they can work and stay employed here. And I just stood there in the middle of the crowd. And the security came and he said, "You here for your residency, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, sir," because I don't speak Spanish and I couldn't read the signs. So he escorted me where I need to go. Why did they tell me I was not on the schedule?
Wow.
I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "I'm so sorry, you're not on the schedule for today." I said, "But ma'am, I applied, and so I'm trying to call, to verify that I'm on the schedule." Well, she didn't care. She said, "You can sit here and wait, or you can reschedule for another day." I said, "Well, ma'am, I will sit here and wait." I sat there until 1 o'clock that afternoon and I chit-chatted with everyone, and I made sure that lady saw me smiling.
Hey,
And she called me at 1 o'clock. She pointed to me. She said, "Do you have all your paperwork?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. Here it is right here." I waited another hour and a half. And she
They do
came
not
back with my passport and my visa, and she gave me my instructions. And I said, "Thank you very much." And I left up out of there about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So have your patience and check your attitude, because you need what they have.
Yes. And they don't have no problem telling you bye.
That's right. They sure don't.
It ain't the States. They don't have to serve you.
At all.
Refuse service. Period. With no
Period. That's right. So check your attitudes.
They seem like for some reason, whatever it is that you have to go get done, no matter what kind of thing you get done, they always want you to have to do it in 2 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're gonna not have something, seem like, okay? So, and that could be something as simple as opening up a bank account. You can go to one bank and they say, "Okay, you need this." You go to another branch of the same bank and they will add something to that list.
Yep.
So it's something.
Yeah. But Mexico is consistently inconsistent. That's one thing.
Yeah, they're consistently inconsistent. There you go.
There you go. All across the board. Period.
Yeah. And in saying all that, Cortez, you think you would move and leave?
Nah. I mean, I may go explore some other places and then might get enchanted by it and may stay a little while. But I mean, I really enjoy it here. I like it here. I love it here. I think this more likely will be home. You know, lots of benefit to being here. You know, I love it. I love it. What about yourself?
I'm not going nowhere, bro.
You ain't going nowhere.
Unless they put me out. But other than that, I'm here. One thing I will tell you, once you move here and buy a house, it's easy to travel once you buy a house here because your expenses in that house is so low. So, you know, in the US, for instance, it's hard to live there and travel because your living expenses are so expensive. Okay, here, your living expenses are very low. And when you go travel, you don't have no expenses that you left back at your house here in Mexico. So you can spend your money wherever you're traveling to. That makes it really nice.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Laura, for sharing. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you. I will see all of you soon.
Cool.
See you soon. Thank you. I got David here. I'm gonna see if we can get him back on. Hey, David, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you. It sounds better. I can't remember where we left off at. I think, what was the, if you don't mind sharing, what was the reason why you left the United States?
Yeah, but I still have a delay, and I hear people over talking. So I'm an old guy, but there's really only three ages. There's teenage, middle age, and hey, you look good.
I didn't totally get all of that.
Yeah, it sounds like we still having a
connection
issue there. Let me see. Okay. Let me. All right. So we're having a hard time hearing. It's like he's going in and out. Let's see here. So listen, anybody, if I'm gonna put a link inside if y'all have anything that you want to share, click on that link and I'll bring you up. and we're going to be wrapping up in just a moment. Somebody asked the question. I'm trying to get back to it. Who was that? Thank you. Hey, Cortez. Okay, here we go. Temple Moore. Hey, Cortez, can you roll your father and aunt into your regularization residency? I know you can roll your father into it. I don't know if the aunt would qualify. She may. Would you know that, Robert?
I don't know. Don't
Now,
have
your
that.
brother-in-law, were y'all able to roll him up under yours? And
He had to go in on his own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all went in individually.
I'm going to put an attorney's phone number in the chat box. And you're going to need to download the WhatsApp app because that's how they communicate here. And she speaks English. Her name is Valeria. And send her a message via WhatsApp and just ask that question. Sometimes she may respond and give you an answer. Or every now and again, she may ask for you to book a consultation, but it's a simple answer. And she might answer it for you without you having to book a consult. Immigration attorney, I'm putting it in the chat box. Valeria. And again, if any of y'all have any questions, feel free.
Here's a guy with a question. Let me answer this up right quick. He wants to know, can you trade 0 DTE with Tasty Trade? You can use whatever broker you want. Me, myself, I only trade with Charles Schwab. And they have purchased Thinkorswim. So now I'm using Charles Schwab Thinkorswim. But you can use whatever brokerage you're comfortable with. Some of their platforms can be very difficult to navigate. So once you get used to one, at least for me, that's the one I stick with. So anyway.
There you go. There you go. All right, I'm just scrolling through, seeing if there's any final questions here. Any word of advice, Robert, based on your experience here, based on living here?
My main thing is like what I said earlier. You got to come here and slow down, okay, and be flexible and leave that attitude back wherever it is you got it, because they don't care. You have attitude if you want to. That just means you out the door. So that's it.
That's it.
Let me just say this one thing about slow life trading. Right now, we have this website where the people in the classroom, once they're students, they get on this website and we all kind of share our trades every day. And when you're in this platform, you get to see how I'm trading, ask questions constantly. So it's a way to get some hand holding daily. Just wanted to throw that out there. And I've been loving it. We've been doing it now for maybe 2 months, month and a half, something like that. But anyway, I've been loving it. It's a way to keep in contact with my students.
And so that's his website is slowlifetrading.com. I put it in the comments below. He has quite a few students, and many of them are doing well. I see many of the testimonials that people post, and they all have good things to say about his program. It's a great way to earn income. So I know a lot of folks are like, "Hey, man, I need a way to make some money. Can I earn an income from trading?" And Robert has always been clear on, this is not a get rich quick thing.
No.
You got to learn. You got to learn.
Yes. It's not an overnight learning thing. It takes a little time, but in time, you can learn it.
Exactly. So check it out. Slowlifetrading.com. And somebody is asking this question, lady. I'm trying to get clarity. Laura said that you need a monthly income of $4,000 or so a month income, but I just checked the Mexican government website and it said $1,620 a month. That might be an old page. I believe the actual number is $4,400 per month.
Yeah, I think
Now,
it's 8 and 16. That's old.
Yeah, that's probably old.
Yeah.
So, but to start the process, you have to start the process in the United States, and you have to go to a Mexican consulate or embassy in the States to begin the process. And so go to their website, and it'll give you the instructions on what you need to do. Generally, once you go to the website, so for example, if you live in Texas, there's a consulate in Texas that you can go to, but you go on the website for that state, and they'll generally say, hey, to set up an appointment, send us an email or call this number and we'll set an appointment. And so you just follow that checklist. And like I said, I've done the same search, and I have come across a website where it was saying $1,600. I think I saw one for Atlanta was $1,800, but that was an old page that had been archived and they didn't delete it. But again, the official number, I believe it's like 4,400. However, each of the different consulates in the States, Mexican consulates in the U.S., the requirements vary from consulate to consulate. So investigate each consulate, because we were looking at some last night where the monthly requirement is $3,100 a month. And I think in Raleigh, North Carolina, it's $3,200 a month. So check them. Check the website. The numbers vary. So that's what we said earlier. The one thing that you can be guaranteed on with Mexico is that they consistently inconsistent.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So 10 different embassies, 10 different price points, income price points. So check into that.
I like this deal here. Harrington She said going to the movies, I guess it's in the U.S. for a family of 5 was about $200. And a family vacation for a week was about $4,000. How much would you say going to the movies is here now for about 5 people?
You say for 5 for the movies?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I know 3 of us went to the movies, and it was $6.96 for all 3 of us total, and that was for a brand new release. The movies was in English. The seats reclined back. We got
start over, Cortez. We got knocked off.
I got knocked out. Okay, so yeah,
3 of y'all went to the movies.
3 of us went to the movies, and it was $6.96 total. And we turned around and got 2 hot dogs, 2 large sodas, big old jumbo thing of popcorn, and they gave us 2 candies, 2 candy bars, and that was less than $10 for all of it.
This on like Dollar Tuesday or something like that, or what?
No, it was just a regular day. Now that was 3 years ago when we first got here. That was the first shocker we had. And matter of fact, I thought now they did have a Monday special going on the other day. I saw in Macro Plaza at the movies. It was 2 tickets, a big box of popcorn, 2 sodas, and 2 candies was like $6 if you go on Monday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, we go to the movies on Monday.
Yeah, on Tuesdays, a special night here at the mall up here at the harbor. But I haven't had a movie good enough for me to go, so
Yeah.
It's nowhere near $200. I'll tell you that.
Oh, and I could attest to what Harrington is saying. How you doing, young lady? I appreciate you. I remember the last movie we went to in the States, and it was 4 of us. I mean, we spent about $170 something, and between the tickets and the popcorn and the sodas and the candy, and there were 5 of us. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was absurd. I mean, we went bowling. I can't remember what it was. A couple of years ago, we went bowling, and it was cheap. I mean, pennies almost, literally pennies. You really can afford to have a life. You can really afford to have a life here, and have time and not stress. And you go to the cenotes for like $1.50, $2 to go to the cenotes. They got an extreme park where you can climb up on this, and it's out, and it's free.
It's free.
You know, it's insane. We go fishing on a boat where a guy, they bring all the bait, they bring all the equipment.
You bring all the fishing. You don't have to get a fishing license. None of that.
And what, 4 of us? And what do we pay total?
I can't remember, but it's cheap. I can't remember. It may be $30 a person or something like that.
Like $120, $150.
Yeah.
And we out there for 4 or 5 hours. And whatever fish we catch, they take them off the hook. They clean them, scale them, and gut them, and they give us the fish. And then what do? We take the fish and we go to a local restaurant
and have them to cook it for us.
And they cook it for us for $5.
For $5.
You know what I'm saying? It's wow. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah. So we getting fresh fish that we caught without doing a thing.
Exactly.
The only thing we do when we go fishing is just throw the pole out.
That's it. They take everything. They'll even put the worm, the bait on the hook for you.
They even bait the hook for you. You're right.
So you don't even gotta get your hand dirty. I kind of like this. You know, LaDonna asked, do my 17-year-old twins come on my residency? Yes, they be. Once you get your residency, you can roll them up under your residency. How did you certify income? I'm gonna assume
bank statements, maybe.
Yeah, because I know with the bank statements, you go in sometimes, depending on the consulate, they'll want you to have a stamp, an official statements from the bank, or official bank statements, or official letter from the bank with a stamp on it. And it varies. So when you go to the consulate and they give you a checklist telling you what you need, it'll specify and lay everything out that you need. My income and 17-year-old receive disability insurance, but yes, you'll be able to enroll your children up under your visa. And I live in Missouri, so check with this state consulate. There you go. Yes, indeed, Harrington is confirming at the consulate in North Carolina, it's about $3,100 to $3,200 a month income.
And that's one of the cheaper places.
That's one of, exactly. And last question here, Kip, will I be able to find a big house there with 3 bedrooms and a pool? Oh, man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm living in a big 3-bedroom house that was bigger than the other house that I was living in from before I moved into this place. 3 bedrooms, and this they call this a studio space. They call this a studio. So we got 3 big bedrooms, this studio, and then there's another studio space like this upstairs, and then we got a big giant pool in the back. And I'm paying $700, and a big yard, and a big wall that wraps around my whole yard. A service corridor so that when somebody come clean my pool or cut my grass, they come through another door and go through a long corridor without having to come in my house dragging all the equipment. And I'm paying $750 a month. And it's a brand new house. Nobody's ever lived in here. And if I had to guess, I'd probably put it at about 3,000 square feet. For some perspective, $750. So yes, you can find a nice 3-bedroom home with plenty of room. I could probably put 3 dogs out there in the back and have plenty of space for them.
But you gotta look. It ain't gonna just jump in your lap.
Yeah, you gotta look. And if you move it into the areas where where many expats live, it's gonna cost more money.
Yeah.
So ideally, you want to be in areas where foreigners are not all conjugated at, and you'll get them really, really good prices.
Yeah.
And so, well, anybody? All right, this is our last chance for questions. We about to sign off of this thing. I gotta go eat. I hate eating.
Yeah, because it's my bedtime.
It's your bedtime.
Actually. Fasted.
Yeah. What time you go to? Robert goes to bed early. Now you know you living good when you go to bed at 7 p.m. That what time you go to bed?
Sometimes 7, 8.
Who brought it? Thrive.com. So y'all listen, join our free newsletter on the website, moveabroadandthrive.com. Get free resources about moving and living abroad. Want to learn how to trade, earn additional income. Take a look at Robert's website, slowlifetrading.com. As usual, if you find this content helpful and useful, consider making a donation. I put a link down in the chat box below. Click on that link and consider making a donation. We're probably going to be, I'm probably going to be making live videos over the next couple of weeks because, this topic here has, this election has a lot of folk fired up and angry. And so we're probably going to be sharing a lot of stuff over the next couple of weeks live, more than usual. So if you have questions, get them over there. How many hours different from the East Coast? We're 1 hour since the time went back. We're only 1 hour behind. Lamar, is health insurance cheaper there?
If you're healthy enough to get it.
Say again?
If you're healthy enough to get it, it's cheaper.
Because they'll cancel you down for any issue.
Yeah, any kind of pre-existing condition, you won't be able to get it. Exactly.
So thank y'all for watching. We appreciate you. We signing out.
Peace out.
Thank you, Harrington. Saw your thing come up. Appreciate you always. Thank you.
Later, guys.